up, guys? Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. We are back again with another S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Z review, this time of the Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku 2.0. Woo! And this is a figure that I've been waiting for a very long time as a Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z collector. I think we've been, just eagerly awaiting a new plain Goku mold, and today we're going to be using both of these Goku figures just to give you guys a bit of a comparison, just a bit of an in-depth review, and hopefully answer some of the questions you have about this new body sculpt. And just taking a quick look at the packaging, nothing special here, just your standard Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z packaging. Clear window there on the front showing Goku and his accessories, some graphics there on the side, white text there on the left side there, Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, and right there down at the bottom we have some logos, the Bandai Tamashii Nations logo and the Dragon Ball Z logo down there as well. And on the side here, just some graphics carrying over from the front, some black and white images of Goku on a yellow background. And finally on the back here, we've got a couple of promo pics of Goku all posed up with a couple of his accessories, and some description of the figure itself. And here he is out of the package, and overall it's a pretty fantastic figure. I really like what they've done to the new Goku body mold. There are a couple of issues that I do have with it. Kind of two issues, one that they can fix pretty easily, and the other one that I think is pretty unavoidable for Bandai, and it's the hair. Just like the original version, the hair is articulated and broken up into 3 or 4 pieces, but it is solid plastic, so you're going to get a lot of weight hanging over his back there. And as you guys can see here, it is using a display stand, so you're not going to get a lot of poses without some kind of support or without this display stand, which it does come with. So I think, if you did have that issue with the original figure, it's the same for this figure. But to be honest, I don't think there is much Bandai can do unless they make, the hair hollow like the Figurized version. But this isn't a model kit. It's an action figure, so the hair would be solid plastic, and again, there isn't much I think they can do in terms of working around it. But in saying that, Bandai did fix a couple of the other issues that this figure had, one being the color of the gi. The original release had this kind of yellow, kind of muddy kind of glow to it. I think they tried to go for the Super Saiyan 3 glow effect, but it didn't actually turn out all that well. As you can see, for this new body mold, it does use more of that orange color on the standard Goku, the original standard Goku release. And when you compare it to the original Super Saiyan Goku gi, you can see that obviously this body mold is a lot more orange and does use a darker blue as well. The other issue that they fixed was the kind of orangey tinge that the original release had for the skin tone. A lot of people complained that it looked like some kind of weird tan, but as you can see for this release, the skin color is quite nice. It's a little bit more pale when you compare it to both of the other Gokus that I have here. It doesn't have the shading that the Awakening Goku does, and it's not quite as dark as the original Super Saiyan Goku release, but it is still a nice skin tone. For Goku's hair, they did do a little bit of shading there on the front. It is subtle, but there is some shading there. Overall, his hair is mainly unshaded, but they did it is molded in a yellow plastic, but they did spray it over with a gold color, and it does look really nice, really shiny, and works a lot better, I think, than the original release. And looking at the sculpt, the new Goku mold does share some engineering aspects from the Awakening Goku. You can see here the torso is broken up in 2 pieces, the upper torso and the lower torso. They are 2 separate pieces, whereas the original Super Saiyan original Goku mold only has the one solid piece for the torso, which some might argue looks better because it's more streamlined, but the new body mold does blend in quite well there. Another thing that is new and that I think is a definite improvement is that the new Goku mold does share the same arms as the Awakening Goku. One thing that I really didn't like about the original Goku mold is how the arms were sculpted. As you can see here, the shoulders on the corners here are sharp, and it doesn't really I guess it's not really cohesive as an arm, and it kind of just sticks out there, which looks kind of ugly. But the new release Goku, the shoulders are rounded, as you can see here. It is covered by the gi there, but it is rounded, and it is the same as the Awakening Goku mold, and looks a lot better in my opinion. Looking at the crotch, the new Goku body mold does share the same crotch as the Awakening Goku, with one exception. The new body mold, the thighs are actually split into two pieces. You got the gi itself, the pants on the outside, and you do have an inner piece as well. So it does, and I will go into it later on, so it does have a thigh cut. It does have a thigh cut, so it does have articulation there, whereas the Awakening Goku is just one solid piece, so it doesn't have thigh articulation. Looking at the original version, some people don't like it because the crotch of their head does kind of look like a diaper, but again, there is the argument that it does look more streamlined because there are less pieces. But again, when you do articulate it, you do get some ugly gaps, whereas the new body mold does conceal those gaps a lot better. For the knees, you can see that the knees are sculpted in, so when you do bend the knees, you don't get, again, an ugly gap. You don't see the joints that you do see in the original Goku mold. Paint wise, everything is painted really sharply, really nicely. It's mostly molded. The body is mostly molded in orange plastic. The torso is molded in orange plastic, but the top of the chest and the middle, the blue parts here, are painted, but they're done pretty nicely, and they do match the skin tone and the molded plastic blues pretty well there. You're not going to get a lot of shading. The only shading that I found was on the front of the hair and on the front of the crotch here. It's kind of like a dark, almost black shading that you get at the crotch, but there's no shading on the skin. The skin tone is kind of pale, but it is quite nice. The head sculpt itself, again, like most of the newer Dragon Ball Z figures, it's printed on, not painted on. So yeah, you're not going to get a lot of shading like the Awakening Goku or the original Goku, but everything is done really sharply and really cleanly, which is nice. Looking at the articulation first, at the hair, as I mentioned earlier, the hair is articulated. It basically just moves side to side. It rotates there, so you do get some left and right movement. Onto the head does look down, not too bad, and it does look up pretty well as well. Obviously the hair is going to get in the way there at the back. It does get some side-to-side motion pretty well right there, and you are going to get some tilt, just a little bit of tilt side to side as well, and it's mainly due to the neck joint. And looking at Goku's arm articulation, he does have a butterfly joint, so he can move his shoulders in pretty well and backward pretty well as well. But this is where one of the other issues I have about the figure. As you can see here, the butterfly joint cup is molded in the skin tone color, but I do wish it was painted a orange, so when you have Goku posed like this, it does look like it's part of the gi and it's more fluid, looks more cohesive, but it is not the end of the world. And that's the only other gripe, the only other issue I do have about the figure. Moving on, the figure does have a 360 rotation there at the shoulder. It can move its arm out, but it is hindered by the gi piece here, which is a separate piece that goes into the shoulder via a ball peg, just like the original Goku mold. You can get a bit more articulation moving his shoulder up if you do have the gi piece on the top there, but it does look a little bit ugly. He does have upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist articulation and a hinge as well. Goku does have a upper and lower torso joint, so he can tilt his body side to side ever so slightly. He does have a ab crunch, which goes forward that much and goes back. Not the greatest, but it does get some movement there. He obviously does have a waist swivel. Goku does get the updated crotch piece, just like most of the other new Dragon Ball Z figures. His belt, is a separate piece. It is molded blue plastic. He can kick out pretty well, and these orange pieces here do hide those gaps quite nicely. I do like that. As I mentioned before, he does have a upper thigh cut, so he does get some articulation there. He can kick forward 90 degrees, and he can kick back quite far. Pretty crazy, actually. He does have a double jointed knee, and the kneecaps there are molded, so it does look like it's part of the gi, unlike the original Goku mold. Looking at the back here, you do see the joints, which is kind of ugly, but I guess it's okay. He doesn't have a boot cut, which is fine, but he does get some up and down movement with his feet. He does get toe articulation, and he does get pretty good ankle pivot as well. I'm really happy with that. And for accessories, he comes with some pretty standard accessories. Some two-fisted hands that you've seen a million times. Two open palm blast hands right there. Two instant transmission hands. Two saluting or karate chop hands. Two Kamehameha hands or Kamehameha hands, whatever you want to call it. And two fighting pose, 3 fingers out, 2 fingers clenched hands as well. For faces, he comes with 4 interchangeable faces. His stern looking to the side face. Again, they are all digitally printed with some shading there on the hair and inside of the ear there. Quite nice. Really sharp, really clean. He comes with a smirking face. I don't know, guys. Does his eyes look? Do his eyes look a little bit, too narrow? He also comes with a gritting teeth face and a shouting face. Very nice. In addition to that, he does come with the display stand that I mentioned earlier, right here. And he does come with a halo that plugs in on the top of his hair, just like the original release. It doesn't come with the effect piece like the original release does, but I guess it's not a big deal because I think most people found that kind of fiddly. It would have been nice if they did kind of update that effect piece and include it with this figure, but hey, what you gonna do? And the question that's been on everybody's mind, can you swap out the normal Goku or Super Saiyan Goku head with the new body sculpt? And the answer is no. Well, not no, but you'd probably have to take out the whole neck joint as well, because you can't actually do a straight up head swap. As you can see here, there is no ball joint. It's a hinge on a swivel. You can see that there is a metal rod that goes through there. So you'd have to do some modding to the head, or straight out take out the neck and just swap them that way. But I haven't been brave enough to do it because there is a potential chance for you to break 2 perfectly good figures. So if there's anybody out there brave enough to do it, please let us know if it can be done. Alright guys, so just my final thoughts on the figure. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with the new Goku body type. I think they made some nice improvements over the original, and they borrowed some really great engineering aspects from the Awakening Goku, which is to date my favorite Goku figure. In saying that, I'm kind of disappointed that you can't actually swap out the heads, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm sure we'll be seeing this body mold many times in future releases. I'm sure Bandai are going to milk it as much as they can, but before we get another, Super Saiyan Goku, I think I'd really love to see just a normal Goku, black-haired Goku. I didn't get the original release, maybe with the actual different belt, with the two pieces hanging down, not the solid belt that we're seeing right here. Maybe with the kanji on the back and on the front, the kame mark on the back and on the front. That would be nice. With a couple of happy Goku faces as accessories. Maybe some food. Just to change things up a bit. Maybe like a giant fish or a fishing rod to come with that. Just to change things up a little bit instead of getting your standard effects. But yeah, guys, let me know what you would like to see in the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball line. I know we got, Kid Goku coming up soon. Shenron's coming out next month. So yeah, let me know what you're looking forward to, what you want to see in the Dragon Ball Z line. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are awesome, and I'll see you for the next one. Take it easy. Bye.